So, I don't need a coach. I have AI. Did I talk about AI the other day on one? Did we talk about this?
Don't think so.
Before we get into it, let me check. I haven't talked about this
What,
before.
on the last podcast?
Yeah, on one of them. I don't think we did we? Let me just double check because I don't want to do another one. And
We did discuss. I'm sure there was like a question we answered about just one of the short questions at the end on. Maybe not. I don't know.
well, I heard this the other day. I'm going to be honest. Someone said to me, straight up, no offense, mate, no offense. When someone says no offense, they're going to offend you. No offense, but I just use AI.
Yeah. What was this on a call with a potential lead? Really?
Yeah, I can just use AI, and I just went, oh, fair enough.
Was that was off the bat they said that or not?
And towards the end,
Right.
I just use AI, and in my soul, it's like, oh well, the last 12 years of me, obsessing about this doesn't matter anymore.
AI has got you.
Yeah, just AI's got me, you know. And I thought, oh yeah, oh okay, because to me, like I know how, and hopefully we can talk about this on the podcast. Like I know how naive that is to say that. Like I know because it's more than just what AI is giving you. Do you know what I mean?
It's the human.
Well, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything, right? Like coaches, in my opinion, I actually think coaches are going to be more desirable, actually. Especially the more AI comes out, because people are going to miss that human connection and touch, But anyway, yeah, so I think people just think, oh yeah, I can get a program, just going off AI, but you're not lacking a program. You're lacking coaching.
Yeah.
And there's a very big difference between the two.
Yeah.
So what's people's problem most of the time? People's problem when they come into the, if you just rock up to any commercial gym today, right, and you look around the room, everybody, one, lacks a philosophy of how to train, and two, lacks correct movement and technique. Those are the two big things that people lack. So AI, what it'll give you is a program. It'll just chuck out a program, 12 weeks, wherever it might be. You can Google a program, find free ones online. The problem is that that's only it might work for about 10 to 12 weeks, right? It's short-sighted. Because then what's going to end up happening is you do that 12 weeks and then you're either going to repeat it, of which that's going to run out of like room to improve really quickly, or you find a new 12-week program, but there's no thread which links everything together into a philosophy of training.
Yeah.
So you haven't got a way of thinking about training. Now, AI, as of right now, will never be able to take my experience. It'll never be able to take my understanding of how to get somebody strong, because that's all up in my head.
Yeah, your thought process.
That's all up in my thought process. And ultimately, that's what you're paying for with a coach. A coach has taken all of those programs, probably done a lot of them, right? Not all of them, that may be a bit strong, but a lot of them. They've made all the mistakes. They've gone through the experiences, and you're getting a synthesis of all of that into, which is boiled down into a system of training where there's a start point and there's an end point, and you're working through that system. And you have a philosophy and way of looking of training for the rest of your life. And that's what you need. Like, if you want to get stronger anyway, that's what you need and you're lacking. And the second thing's technique, right? Like, you walk around the gym. Like, you need a coach. You need a good coach, right? And that's what makes me laugh as well. Some people say, well, I feel like I need an in-person coach, And fair enough. I think some people might just prefer that, and, fair enough. But I think the overriding factor in all of it is actually the quality of the coach.
Yeah.
Because you can have an in-person coach and they're rubbish. There's plenty of those about.
Yeah.
Right, you go rock. Anybody can be a PT today. Anyone.
Oh yeah, God, you could do it. Well, you do it in 6 weeks or probably even less than that now, can't you? And then
mate, it's
you let
mad.
loose on the public.
It's mad. Well, I told you about my experience getting qualified with Premier Global.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Man, crazy stuff.
yeah.
What was yours like getting qualified?
It was all right. I did it. I can't remember how many. I think that was across something like 6 weeks. And it wasn't bad, to be fair.
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot then. I suppose I was just I trained myself and that was it. So you learnt a couple of things. And then other things I was like, no, that was strange. No, it didn't really meet. At the time I used to read a lot and do a lot of research online.
Right.
And so what I learnt there didn't marry up with the people who were kind of maybe talking on forums who had more training experience. Right. But it very much just ticks the box for you to become insured, really.
Well, it's like driving, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get that out the way, and then you really learn when you start.
Yeah, when you experience it, and you're hands on, you're coaching clients, and whatever else.
Well, yeah. So that was I got into arguments with my marker because I just was appalled. I was like, "This is insane! Like you're telling me I need to say this, but I know you're wrong for this, and this reason." And we were just having like back and forths on email, and it just got me nowhere. And then I realised, I just need to humble myself a little bit, like bite the bullet and just do what she's saying for me to do. Because then she stopped marking my work. She stopped responding to me. And then I was like left for months on end without anybody marking my work because I pissed off the examiner. So it was just the whole thing. It was a big eye opener. The point being, anybody can be a coach today, and the standard and barrier to entry is on the floor.
Yeah.
Like you can literally become a PT tomorrow. And so that's the thing, is like you got these people, if they're good at marketing, they can convince you. And then all of a sudden you've got an in-person PT, but you're not actually learning anything. You're not actually getting anywhere. So what matters far more than that is the quality of the coach. Because a good coach, whether it's online or in person, should be able to get you a result.
Yeah.
So that's really what you're paying for. But the AI thing, because a lot of people are saying that. Well, they'll never replace good coaches, in my opinion. Have you ever had anybody saying this to you before?
Not with AI. Nothing with AI.
Come on, you must have had some good ones in the past.
I have had some. I'm trying to think, and people. I've had people do things like, do you do one-off sessions?
One-off
and I'm
session.
like, fuck.
Because my time doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I've always I always try and help someone, and I'll explain. I wouldn't just shoot them down and be like, there's no point, blah 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 blah. Like the same principle where I used to be, if you can't train multiple times a week, then you're wasting your time. I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah.
I think I've touched on this before because going off on a slight tangent, but I think someone who can only maybe commit to training once a week, you take that across a year, and if they're going to train once a week compared to doing no training, then they're getting exposed to 72 training sessions across the year. That's far more beneficial than doing nothing. But anyway, when someone comes across and they like, do you do one-off sessions? It's like, they're not, and they don't just mean like to get a feel for if they like your coaching style, they like you as a person and everything like that. I'm talking like someone thinks they can come along, learn everything, and then just
leave you,
pay their money, and they've got it all. Then they can go and do it all themselves. I'm just like, it doesn't freaking work like that.
No.
Same with nutrition. It's like I've had consultations and people go, I'll think about it, and you go through all their struggles. And they like literally paint the picture of what they're struggling with, and you're like, "This is how I will help you." It sounds like you just, you maybe struggle with this part, and you don't have the support where you need it. This is the price. Yeah. Like, no. I think I'll carry on, and thanks for your information. I think it was really helpful, and I think I'll be all right now. So yeah, okay, no problem, carry on. But you won't be all right. But it's your decision. I respect that. But
I think there's a thing where a lot of people as well, and I don't know if not all people, but that because there's certain coaches out there that can be quite sleazy and stuff on sales calls, and they associate maybe people like us with that too. And they almost think they take in almost like a moral high standing almost by saying, oh, no, I'm not going to do it. I know what you're trying to do to me here. So I'm not going to, and I want you to know that I'm not full for this. I was like, okay, mate, fair enough. You feel that way.
Yeah.
But still be stuck 6 months from now.
You know? I can't tell you, I was saying this to someone the other day, I cannot tell you the number of people I've spoke to, whether I've been sometimes down at the football ground or wherever else, and someone goes, yeah, I'm like, oh, you still playing football? You doing? Oh no, I can't play anymore. My knee is screwed. I'm thinking of having surgery, and I'm like, oh, all right. I was like, I'm not trying to sell you anything here. I was like, I don't get commission for it or anything, but just check out a company called ATG. This is who I coach for. We get tons of people who help with knee pain. It may not work for you, but for the cost of how little it is, it might do, and it could be life changing. And like, just check it out. Check out Ben on YouTube, and just naive to it. They think I'm trying to make money off them or something, and so many people, but they'll go and listen to a surgeon and have a surgeon tell them, let's get in for surgery. And I'm not arguing with that. Maybe some people probably do need it, but to not be willing to just try something that may get you, out of pain, get you, your freedom back. But I think people think I'm trying to sell something.
Yeah, to exhaust their options before the worst one. You're right. People jump into a surgery chair, no problem, because that, not as if that's gonna, cause any problems later on down the line. Especially if you're in your 30s and thinking about surgery.
And the funny thing is as well, I'm not shitting on medical experts or anything, but surgeons get paid for doing them. So 100%. They don't think, he's trying to sell me the surgery. Yeah. But like the PT here, who's with the coach or whatever, he's definitely just trying to sell me.
Well, happened to me, one of my clients, right? So James is amazing. He had so he does like wrestling.
Oh, the wrestling,
yeah. So he partially torn his ACL, and he was having issues with it and all this. And anyway, he comes on board coaching with me, and at the same time, at the initial period we were chatting, he says, "Oh, I had to see a surgeon." And I was like, "Okay." Anyway, comes out, says, "Yeah, they want me to have surgery." I said, "All right, okay. What are they going to do again for partially torn ACL? Can they even do anything? And anyway, I pleaded with him. I said, "Mate, do not get surgery." I said, "Try this out. Please, just try her out. Just try and exhaust your options first before just going under the knife, because that should be the last possible resort for people when you've exhausted all possibilities." And again, like you said, we're not shitting on surgeons or whatever. They're there for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. But it should be the last option for you before you've gone down other routes. And now, because initially he can walk without pain. And now he's doing his wrestling now again full time. He's we talk tons because we have to, right, about with the stuff he's doing to his body with the wrestling. He's just deadlifted 195 for 2, right? He's squatted, I think, 3 plates, like over 3 plates, benched like 120, pressed, I think 70 kilograms now. And he's in a place now where he's actually got his life back and can do what he loves. Yeah. Without surgery. And me knowing something about the human body and stuff, I started questioning what the surgeon was saying. I was like, what I don't understand what they're going to do for a partially torn ACL.
Yeah, rupture, you're done. You've got to have surgery.
Yeah, exactly. But like a partially, like, what's going to happen, And, he's less pain. Obviously we're on the illusion that he's ever going to completely go. But he's managing it and he's mitigating that, for further in his life, or potentially even never having to have, any surgery or anything like that, So it's amazing, mate, how I think, especially in the UK, I've said this before, I talk to people around the world, and the people in the UK, we all have our brilliant qualities that maybe in other cultures they don't have. But one of the poor qualities we have as a collective in the UK, we're extremely skeptical. Extremely skeptical. No, I think it goes beyond skeptical. I think is cynical sometimes, where they think people are out to get me, you know. And listen, certain people are absolutely, but there's also other people out there, don't forget, that actually can help you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay to ask for help, and taking this moral high ground of I'm not going to fall for.
I can see through your bullshit.
I can see through your bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, like you should be able to decipher between the people that do want to help you and those that don't want to help you, and there's both out there. You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, AI is going to do the job for us anyway,
Yeah,
mate.
yeah,
So
we're done.
we're done.
Yeah,
we're
cooked.
done for.
Yeah,
we're
we're
cooked. We're cooked. We're well done at
Yeah.
this point. Anyway, let's get into some questions then. Anything you want to add to?
No, that's good.
Let's have a look. What's your take on training when you're sick? Should I rest completely or do something light like walking or bodyweight exercises? Do you want to take this one?
I would say if you feel up to it, then go and do something, but don't go and like, presumably you're feeling unwell or something like that. You don't go and do a ton of high intensity cardio or something. It's probably going to make you feel worse. If you just want to go in and move, do so. But again, don't go in the gym and think, oh, right, like for example, yourself, if you got programmed, right, today I should be doing 200 for 8.
Yeah.
And you're feeling unwell, then you're pissing into the wind, aren't you?
Well, I think that's a good point, because I find it easy to train, but hard knowing when not to train. That's my
very
problem.
much the same. Yeah.
So I think for me, it takes even more discipline on my part to say, no, don't train today. I can easily blast myself all week if I want to. Like, no problems with that.
Yeah,
but
I did it with COVID twice, and I was like, why am I feeling like I'm absolutely gasping after just doing one set? And like,
I wonder.
and then testing. It's like, oh, okay.
Hey, I squatted 200 kilos with COVID, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I was squatting a top single. I thought, oh, this didn't move well today. Lo and behold, went home and tried onions. No taste of onion. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not going to get into frigging hell. I'm not going to open up a can of worms about COVID and frigging illnesses and all sorts.
Go there, James.
But I don't know. The twice I've had it, I felt like horrendous for a day and a half. And literally the next day I was like, right, well, I'm going to start moving and training again. And I was quite quickly recovered.
Yeah.
And, who knows? I could go and get something and be gone, within a couple of days. But I do think living a healthy lifestyle, looking after your body to a degree, does set you up better to handle things if you get them.
Undeniably. Undeniable. That is undeniable. You know, if... don't get me wrong, I know it's weird, mate, because for me, I was like you. It was like I had a cold.
Yeah.
I squatted 200 with COVID, right? Like, no problem. But then I know certain people that have just absolutely got destroyed by COVID. And I'm like, is this the same thing?
Yeah.
You know? Because if someone gets the Nova virus, everybody reacts the same way. You get COVID, one person reacts completely differently to the next. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're right. That's undeniable. That's a fact. You know, if you're in better shape, you're going to be able to handle that better. It's simple as that. Okay, let's see. I've got a crazy schedule with work and family. What's the minimum I can train and still make progress in strength? What do you say, mate?
Well, I would say I think I couldn't tell you the actual stats on strength, but I know for maintaining where you are, you can do that on something simple like
I think it's like 30% volume. Or something,
I think like the equivalent of like even one hard set a week. You know, so obviously you wouldn't be just going and doing one set, but like ramping up to your working set and even exposing yourself, just touching that intensity can maintain it.
Right. Yeah.
Trying to progress your strength then probably is going to be different again based on whether you're very new to it or like yourself compared to like me. You know, it's going to be a different thing, isn't it? Because you're using different loads.
I think the advancement largely determines the answer to that, because let's say if you're advanced or elite, making progress on 2-a-week training's very tough because you just might not be getting enough volume.
Yeah.
You know, but as a beginner, man, you can make progress on 1 session a week. Do you know what I mean? So it depends where you are on that spectrum, I think. But yeah, anyway. Is there a point where cardio starts to hurt your gains, or is it just a myth?
Depends on the goal, but I would say yes, it can do. Absolutely.
Yeah, it can.
For example, me, I train mostly I want to be fast.
Yeah.
That's my main goal. To maintain that, get faster if I can. If I start going and doing running 5Ks 3 times a week on top of what I do, absolutely that will impact.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit like
or doing spin classes or something.
Yeah. It's like your body's like a cup, right? There's only so much you can put in that cup before it starts flowing over the sides.
Yeah.
And you've got to decide what you're going to put in there. You know, I was talking a little bit about kind of strength and how that should always be a goal for an athlete and the point of the extra 2.5 kilograms. Like, yeah, that's such a fundamental, important part of performance that needs to be in your cup.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's other stuff you should be putting in there too, on top of that. And that's where a proper periodized plan comes in. And again, what I was talking about with the progression rates, right? Like managing that. Well, the same it goes for cardio, like if you're doing, because the way your body adapts to cardio versus getting stronger is different. They're different pathways ultimately. So this isn't to say you shouldn't do cardio. Like I do cardio, you do cardio. How much you do depends on your goals. And which you bias, really, I think, But there should be, in my opinion, despite what your goal is, there should be a minimum standard for each, regardless of where you're at, because ultimately, if I'm doing, runs 5 days a week and I'm trying to squat the weights that I'm squatting, it's not going to happen for me.
No.
It's not. So, yeah. Let's see. There's one more for me here. When's the right time to transition from linear progression to an intermediate program? So are you familiar with kind of how I run my system?
Yours?
Like how I do it, yeah.
You have talked to me about it before, but I'm not sure. So, I mean...
So basically, I progress people... So that's how I look at strength, right? Is all time frames.
Hold on. So is this... just before you go into it, because I remember we discussed this in Portugal, where you're talking about a beginner and how many times they can look to PB in a week or whatever, and then going to intermediate and then advanced.
That's right. Yeah. So that's right. Yeah. So my system is all around time frames, right? So like, essentially, I think a beginner is someone who's yet to exhaust the ability to progress weight on the bar from Monday to Wednesday to Friday to the next Monday. A beginner can recover and adapt from a training stress every 48 to 72 hours. That's how I would class a beginner in my system then, right? An intermediate is someone who's exhausted the ability to progress day to day. And an advanced lifter is someone who's exhausted the ability to progress week to week. And an elite lifter is someone who's exhausted the ability to progress month on month. So the way it kind of works is that what this person's asking is, how do you know when to move from a day-to-day progression in weight to a week-to-week progression in weight, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
And I think a large part of that really is your performance. That's the only metric, to be honest. Like, if the weight's still going up on the bar, doesn't change anything.
No,
it's that simple.
Yeah.
If you are plateauing and bearing that, you're sleeping enough, you're having enough calories, you're having enough protein, your stress is manageable, you're not making stupid jumps in weight on the bar, and you've truly plateaued, then just go into a week to week. Yeah, simple as that. And I don't want to go off on a different topic here, but I posted yesterday about how people like, I don't know if you saw that meme. It was like a meme where like the brain was like with all the calculations, and people finding all of these different ways to like become stronger,
but not the 2.5.
But not the 2.5. Because there's something wrong with that apparently. We need to eccentric overload, and we need to, we need to do RPEs, and we need to attach this velocity tracker to the barbell to check my bar speed.
Do you think some people like more complexity though?
As mental gymnastics.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And almost like that feeling of like feeling like you are an advanced lifter or whatever.
Yeah.
Than actually being more humble and just accepting where you are, but just being consistent with it.
Well, I've had it before, mate, where people go on a call with me and they've not liked what I've said. And I'm just trying to be honest, right? Like, they saying to me, "Oh, so what? You're telling me that I just need to, like, add a bit more weight to my squats 3 days a week and just keep going up?" Like, yeah.
Well, I can remember talking to you, and we were in Portugal and you told me this conversation about your system, and I named off a few different people, and I was like, "Where would they be in your system?" And you're like, "Beginner." And I was like, "Oh, really?" You're like, "Yep, absolutely beginner." You're like, "They wouldn't like it, but they'd be a beginner in my system."
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is, they may know a lot about training, but there's a difference between knowing a lot about training and being an advanced trainee in a strength system.
Yeah.
Different things altogether. Doesn't mean you can't be a great coach and stuff like that. You absolutely, I think you can be. It certainly helps running through that experience, But yeah, it's because I don't think you can define someone's advancement based off how long they've been training for.
Yeah.
I don't think, because there's many people like who train out there, and they know a lot about, well, they've got these different ideas on training, but those ideas might be wrong, and
or conflicting to what you as a coach is. Or
absolutely. Yeah. So that's how I define it in my system, and it's for me the most objective way to define someone's advancement. But yeah, you're right, mate. It's mental gymnastics, and I've been there. Look, I've gone through my phase of wandering and trying to find, I think we all do as coaches, we look at different sources because we're curious. That's why we got into it in the first place. We enjoy looking at this stuff, and we look at all these different ideas. But the reality is, you start out simple, you wander for a little bit, get curious, start looking at all these different methods, realize what works, what doesn't work, and then you usually come back to the simple stuff at the end. Not usually, some people do anyway. But the difference is, you now have a better in-depth understanding as to why a 5x5 works, right?
Yeah.
Like, before, you just did 5x5
because someone told you that.
Someone's told you. Yeah. But now you know why 5x5 works, and you know why you stood the test of time. So yeah, I mean, the mental gymnastics people do with strength training, when it is literally it's the simplest thing you can do in the gym, but people still find a way to butcher it. Because I did the bloody the eccentric hooks. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
Oh man, didn't make me stronger.
No, yeah.
It was just like, I bought them because I thought, oh yeah, it looks cool. I want to give her a go, and I'll try anything if it's going to make me stronger. And I still got that attitude now. But did it make me stronger? Absolutely not. It looked cool. Didn't do anything for my squat.
Yeah.
Nothing to my squat. I'll argue till I'm blue in the face with anybody about this stuff. In fact, it just increased the chances of injury, to be honest. But yeah, anyway. Rant over. It just does my head in the world of strength, mate. RPs, that's what we can
I saw that one this morning where you got the woman ripping it up.
Some coaches, I can imagine, I just probably do their head in with some of the posts I put up, because the entire system is built around RP. Yeah. I'm unreal. What should it stand for? Real poor estimate. That's why I think it should be.
Yeah.
It should be. I did my RP. I did my squat today at an RP 8.5, whatever that means. RP 8.5. I don't know what that means. You know. Anyway, you're gonna get me off again. Should we call that one there?
Yeah, go on. I'll let you do the outro this time.
Oh, you're actually gonna let me?
I'm letting you. Yeah.
You're
Just remember,
letting
I'm
me.
letting you. You're
I don't
not
like you
choosing
saying-
to.
I
I am
don't-
letting you. I'm allowing you.
Why are you
giving you
emphasising
the
letting
option.
for? Why are you emphasising letting for? The
Let's
word
just
letting?
say I'm the strongest man in the room. Yeah.
Strongest, best looking. I'm the strongest, best looking, and I can outrun you as well.
I'll say fastest, but I think you probably. Yeah, I'm not going with the others.
Fastest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got you over maybe 10 meters. I think. Do you reckon?
I don't know. Actually, I'm waiting for you to frigging step up and
Plus,
come and race
my
me.
hamstring falls on the floor behind me. as I
It is
pull
what
off.
it is. It is what it is.
Every man for themselves. Right. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed, leave that rating and review, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. There we go, mate.